Welcome to the Menasha Alderman Candidates Forum, presented by the League of Women Voters of Winnebago County. I'm Margie Davey, President of the League. The League of Women Voters seeks to inform citizens about major public policy issues and about candidates seeking office. We are proud to be nonpartisan and never support nor oppose any political party or candidate. For more information about the League of Women Voters, check out our website at lwvwinnebago.org and our Facebook page at LWV of Winnebago County. Due to the continuing pandemic, we are conducting this forum in person, but without an audience. Everyone in the room has agreed to remain masked at all times. Public questions were solicited in advance and may have been edited for brevity and clarity. The candidates have not seen the questions beforehand. 2 candidates are competing for 1 seat in each of 3 districts. In District 2, James Taylor, the incumbent, is being challenged by Rosita Eisenach. In District 4, incumbent Mark Langdon has Austin Hammond as a challenger. Randy Rapella and Josh School are competing for the seat in District 8. All candidates were invited. Mark Langdon is unable to attend due to health concerns. Candidates, I want to thank you for keeping your answers short so that we may cover as many issues as possible. When you see the stop sign that our timekeeper has, that means period. If you insert a comma and keep talking, I will stop you, period. Okay? And with that, we will begin with our 2-minute opening statements, which you were told to prepare ahead of time. And we will start with you, Randy.
Oh, welcome. My name is Randy Rapella. I'm currently the District 8 Alderman. I've completed 2 terms, and I'll be running for my 3rd term. I'm a lifelong resident of Menasha. Lived here for 60 years. I'm running because I love the city of Menasha. I care about the city of Menasha tremendously. I was committee chairman for our Light Up Menasha committee. We decorated with the snowflakes, and we had the Christmas tree, and I was the chairman, and we fundraised. We raised a great deal of money to help sponsor that. We went around and solicited funds, and so we'll have our 2nd gather round next year. I've got a great deal of education. I've got a business degree from Oshkosh. I've been an elementary teacher for 25 years. Currently, I'm retired. I've got a Master of Science in Education from UW Oshkosh from 1996. And some of the things that I'd like to speak about is we've worked really hard the last 4 years to maintain our tax rate and keep it relatively low. Again, the city of Menasha is not responsible for the portion of the taxes that the school district and the other entities charge. The school district has gone up 5% last year, and now it's gone up 10% this year. So our city's portion is remaining to be relatively very low, but we have no control over the school district taxes. My citizens, as walking around, they're concerned about Jefferson Park. They're intrigued because they enjoy the trails. They enjoy riding their bikes through there. They'd like to make Jefferson Park a gathering place for our city. So hopefully we can work on that. So again, vote Rapella. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Your turn, Josh.
Hello, my name is Josh School, and I'm currently running for the 8th District in the city of Menasha. I'd like to start off by thanking the League of Women Voters for this opportunity to express myself and share my thoughts on how to improve the city. Obviously, I'd like to thank my wife and my children for their support. It would not be possible to be here without their support. And of course, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank God for living in such a free country where political discourse such as this and others is encouraged as a means of solving our problems and our disagreements. My background, I'm a public safety professional. I have 17 years in public safety, 5 of which are in a supervisory role. One of the many responsibilities I've had in my public safety experience is responsible for training 70-plus officers in use of force and defensive tactics. A training requirement that is mandated by the state and requires year-round collaboration with other entities. I'm a lifelong Fox Valley resident. I have a master's degree in organizational leadership from Marian University down in Fond du Lac. I'm motivated to run for the 8th District because I truly care about this city. I care about all of the residents. And because I care, I'm incredibly disappointed with how local, state, and federal governments have responded to the COVID-19 pandemic. I believe that the response has been over the top and incredibly limiting of our civil liberties. This has led to the destruction of local economies, high inflation, and of course, a reduction in job markets, and Menasha has not been exempt from this. There's overall a lack of government accountability, not only in the city, but also government entities as well. I know I can do better. I just want to thank the city and the league for this opportunity to talk.
Thank you, Josh. Moving on to District 4, we'll start with you, Austin.
All right. Well, good evening. My name is Austin Hammond, and I'm happy to be running for the 4th District of the Common Council for the City of Menasha. I studied at Northeast Wisconsin Technical College, where I obtained an associate's degree in digital media, arts, and technology. And during my time at NWTC, I had the privilege to study abroad in Ireland, where I earned a certificate in Irish Business and Culture from the Waterford Institute of Technology. After studying at NWTC, I transferred to the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, where I went on to study political science and minor in social justice, where I obtained a bachelor's of arts. And during my time at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, I was heavily involved in student government. I served as student body vice president, and I was a champion for sustainability on campus. I advocated for carbon neutrality by the year of 2030 and other sustainable goals to make our campus the best it could be. And during my time on campus, I also was appointed by the governor to serve on his task force for student debt. So those are a few of my things that I did during my time as a student. After graduating from the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, I started my professional career at the Greater Fox Cities Area Habitat for Humanity. I was hired on as an assistant restore manager. And after a few months, I moved into the outreach coordinator role, where I work in community development and I work with the Rock the Block. I'm running for city council because I believe that if you want to see change, you should be the change that you want to see. I want to see the city of Menasha become the best it can be by having advocacy for economic responsibility, affordable housing, and sustainability. We should leave the planet and our city better than how we found it. And I just want to take the opportunity to thank the League of Women Voters for this opportunity to do this forum. Thank my fiance Amber for her unconditional support of my candidacy, and all the constituents in Menasha that I have the opportunity to meet when I knock doors. So thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Okay, we'll move down to District 2 then, and we'll start with you, Rosita.
Thank you. My name is Rosita Eisenach, and I am 38 years old. I have lived in Menasha my whole adult life. I have owned my home in the same district here for 10 years. I've been in the restaurant industry my entire life. I did go to college and I obtained my degree for medical laboratory technician. That's when you go to the doctor and get something drawn for testing. I would do all that testing. I worked for a year at Fox Valley Hematology and Oncology, and my career ended there when they were bought out by ThedaCare and the location closed. It was at that point that I realized I missed the restaurant industry and seeing my customers. And so at that point, I decided to buy the old Grog in Menasha, which is also in District 2. We have now owned that business for 3.5 years, and I feel that being a business owner and being on the council could be very beneficial. I love giving back to the community as much as possible. We feed 150 families through the Menasha School District. We feed them breakfast, lunch, and dinner for Thanksgiving. We adopt 20 children for Christmas each year, and we've had a helping hand in keeping the food pantry at Jefferson Park full. I have a passion of serving people and giving back to my community that I love. I feel that if I am voted onto the council, I can continue to make good choices for my neighborhood and city. With that being said, keep in mind that I have not been on the council before and most likely will not know many of the answers ahead of me. But I am definitely looking forward to learning from the city and the staff to see how I can keep Menasha great in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, James.
Thank you. My family has made Menasha their home for 4 generations, both in business, city politics, and showing their community support. I have chosen the same path of service to Menasha for the past 35 years. As an alderman, I love serving the citizenry of Menasha and being their voice and their representative. I have 35 years experience of being proactive and involved in my community. I have been alderman, council president, Chairman of Public Works, Chairman of Landmarks Commission, and been very proactive in the organizations that have come and gone throughout Menasha the past 35 years. I really do enjoy working with the people of the city of Menasha and personally taking their issues and working through that with them and to resolve their problems. I've also been on the Holiday Lighting Committee this past year where we enhanced the downtown and held a new event to host a holiday tree lighting. And for the past 30 years, I've hosted First Eve, the premier New Year's Eve event in the Fox Cities, held in downtown Menasha to showcase our city every year. In the past 8 years, live on Channel 5, so the whole Northeast Wisconsin community can see Menasha showcased on New Year's Eve. I want to continue representing the city of Menasha as alderman, as I've done for the past 22 years. As Alderman Rapella mentioned, we have kept taxes down. Thank you. I have to stop.
Thank you. Okay, candidates, now I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and each of these questions you'll have 90 seconds, a minute and a half. You don't have to fill the entire time if you don't need to. Our goal is to get as many questions in as possible. But I will start with the same rotation, but I'll be starting with a different person each time to keep it fair. Okay. So Josh, that means you get this question first.
Excellent.
And then everybody else gets the same question. So what policies should the Common Council promote so that Menasha remains a desirable place to live or open a business?
Well, first, I think the city of Menasha needs to understand that single-family development is the way to go. Menasha, for a long time, has had a reputation of being a community of apartments. In fact, when I purchased my home in Menasha, many of my peers, coworkers, family asked why I was moving into an apartment or why I was renting a home. Single-family developments are key. Yes, there are certain areas where perhaps an apartment does make sense. When you talk about building businesses, when you talk about building community, we're looking at places like green spaces, parks, development of the waterfront area, the urban trail system are excellent. When we talk about things like public safety is what builds on a community. Public safety is what makes the community safe and what makes people want to live here. It's not just law enforcement and firefighting. Public safety is also traffic management. All right? It's also about speed enforcement. It's about traffic flow. Those things between single-family home ownership, development of green spaces, and public safety are what make Menasha and will make Menasha a desirable place to live and start your business. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question, Austin.
So policies that I think the city of Menasha should use and utilize on the Common Council in order to make it a more desirable place to live are, I would echo some of what Josh said, affordable housing. This is something that impacts so many people. There are so many people who are burdened by the cost of living when 30% or more of their income goes towards housing. So whether that's the affordability of apartments or building houses for first-time home buyers, we need to do whatever we can at the city level to make Menasha a place that's able to be lived in. In addition to that is making environmental sustainability a center point. The climate crisis is not tomorrow's issue, it was yesterday's issue, and the only stance that would be irrational to take would be inaction at all. So matching with the state of Wisconsin's 2050 goal of carbon neutrality, I think we should echo that because that's going to attract businesses that want to align with that, and it's also economically wise and reasonable to move towards clean and green energy. So affordable housing, environmental policies that are efficient, and then the revitalization of our downtown continue to make Menasha a place that people want to work, play, shop, keep continuing to use TIFs and other things that are good for redevelopment and making Menasha an attractive place to do business.
Thank you. Rosita.
I feel that business, resident, it's all a circle. So in order to bring people to Menasha, you have to have the affordable housing. You have to have the jobs here. You got to have the space for them to open their businesses. I'm living proof. I have a business here. I enjoy having my business in Menasha, but it's going to be a circle. So you got to have a living wage to afford that housing. You got to have the jobs available. So we've got to focus on all of it and not just one situation.
Thank you. James?
Could you repeat the question without your mask? I can't quite hear you down here.
Certainly. What policies should the Common Council promote so that Menasha remains a desirable place to live or open a business?
Since 1985, Menasha has accepted its new horizon. And each year we continue to move that new horizon forward. And at first we started with the Central Business District downtown, and we've continued that throughout the years. Currently we're going through a shift from industrial to Central Business District to commercial and residential in our downtown. We're also taking the industrial places where many people made their living and turning those into affordable housing, also with some commercial space to help enhance the city and the downtown businesses. Menasha has always been proactive the last 35 years in continuing to move forward with their new horizon. And it shows our community downtown is just a beautiful place, and our business districts and our TIF districts are always increasing. Our growth to the east is helping the city maintain a great tax base. Thank you.
Thank you. And Randy?
Thank you very much. Policies that Menasha should consider or should focus on to remain a desirable place to live. Menasha, we have many strengths. Our street department, streets are well kept, great plowing. Our law enforcement, we have a low crime rate. The fire department, our first responders do an excellent job. We're working to get people downtown. Our holiday lighting committee, that's why I focused on that and started that. Something to beautify our downtown and get people excited about coming downtown. Our tax base continues to grow. Out here on the east side, we're having more houses being built. We have to grow our tax base one way or the other. Currently, we have 3 buildings downtown that are apartment complexes that are dealing with people moving downtown. With people moving downtown, we're also getting more restaurants downtown and people back into our downtown. So that's a key focus of the council. So continuing to grow the tax base, and stressing the positive things that are in Menasha are great things that Menasha needs to continue to do to get people to move here. Of course, we focus on just making Menasha a great place. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, you're right, Austin. This question will go to you first. What is the role of the Common Council in ensuring an adequate supply of affordable housing for everybody who wants to live in Menasha?
Yeah, so I think the Common Council can play a pivotal role in advocating for affordable housing when it's making decisions on how it's distributing, there's the word that I'm trying to say, its funds towards housing initiatives. I know at one point there was a first home buyer program for first-time folks who want to buy a home, and we also have our Stronger Neighborhoods initiative that is kind of in the umbrella of the Housing Authority Committee, which I forgot to mention in my opening statement I am proud to be part of, as well as the Sustainability Board. But the Common Council can promote those programs by investing in homeowners to make investments in their homes. By building that partnership, we're going to be able to make housing more affordable here in the city of Menasha, and partnering with other groups like Habitat for Humanity and other groups that are nonprofit that do the great work of beautifying homes to help homeowners. So those are a few different things that I think that we can do here in the city of Menasha to kind of give folks a leg up and able to access affordable housing and make their dreams come true and make city of Menasha a place that they want to live, start a family, and pursue their career goals.
Thank you. Rosita?
Can you repeat the question one more time, please?
I'd be happy to. What is the role of the Common Council in ensuring an adequate supply of affordable housing for everybody who wants to live in Menasha?
A lot of what Mr. Hammond had said, I agree with. I do feel that the single-family homes that was mentioned earlier, to get those beginning families here, get them started on their feet, and then they can hopefully find a job here or build a business here, and then they can earn that income, look into buying a home here. And again, it goes back to that whole cycle of we got to have all of it to have a good Menasha.
Thank you. James?
Thank you. Menasha in the Fox cities has always had affordable housing. 37% of the housing in the area is multifamily and rental properties. So if somebody wants to start out in Menasha as a rental and work their way into a strong neighborhoods program, fixing up a house, curb appeal program, making a house look nicer for the community. And we are now stretching that all the way up on the east side of the community to luxury homes that are being built at this time. But also we're building quality housing with the four units that are being built downtown at this time. 3 on Main Street, 1 on Doty Island, and the former Ponta building is going to provide tremendous amount of affordable housing for many. And also, we're focusing on the baby boomers that are retiring and giving up their homes. And with programs, again, like the Strong Neighborhoods program, it really helps enforce the younger people to come in and spend money in Menasha for their housing. So Menasha has always had, from top to bottom in the income levels, great affordable housing.
Thank you. Randy?
Would you mind repeating the question, please?
Of course. What is the role of the Common Council in ensuring an adequate supply of affordable housing for everyone who wants to live in Menasha?
Thank you very much. Working with the council for the last 4 years, we've established a housing authority, and the curb appeal program that gives up to $5,000 to fix up curb appeal type of things outside your house. We also have a housing Strong Neighborhoods program that's going to revitalize older homes. So we have money set aside that you can get either $5,000 or $10,000 or even up to $15,000 for the Strong Neighborhoods program. Again, focusing in on revitalizing older homes. Now those homes, many of those homes we're working to change over from multi-family homes to back to single-family homes on some of the older ones. Again, we continue to have, the council continues to strive by having the downtown housing, apartments, and places for people to choose to live. Also, we have out on the east side, we have another housing complex or apartment complex that's that's being built. Plus, we have one more that's going to have another 30, 40 apartments in it that right next door to it. So we're trying to fill up some. Again, continue to raise our tax base, and providing affordable housing is one of the ways to go. So we've been really working hard the last 4 years, so that the Strong Neighborhoods program is a great thing for Menasha. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Josh?
The role of the Common Council in making sure there's an adequate supply of affordable housing, I'm not sure that the Common Council really has a role in that. That needs to be dictated by the individual purchaser, the developer, and of course the market at large. The Common Council can do certain things like reducing the tax burden, not implementing additional fees and services to replace things like sewer laterals. The reason I purchased a home on the east side of Menasha that was brand new was so I could avoid such costs. I truly believe that it is not the Common Council's overall goal to have any influence whatsoever on the housing market within the city. We need to stop short of trying to create something that isn't there. The market will dictate it, and if the city of Menasha has low taxes, high quality of life, then those houses will be built on their own and purchased by people who can afford them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this time we're going to start with you, Rosita. How should Menasha be addressing sustainability and climate change?
Ooh, I'm not very familiar in this area at all, so I honestly am not going to answer the question. I'm hoping that when I get voted to council, I can learn a little bit more about the sustainability and how to get more involved with that.
Okay, thank you. James?
Way on the end down here, I have a hard time hearing you.
How should Menasha be addressing sustainability and climate change?
As an alderman at the last budget in November, I asked all department heads that we should be looking at clean energy resources, and if that's with the automobiles going to electric, we need to move in that direction. The Chute Street parking lot is going to be redone this summer, and I asked that we make sure that we pipe in the necessary utilities so we can have electric charging stations for both our vehicles and the employees' vehicles at City Hall. I've also asked our Department of Public Works Department for this initiative. The police department is working off the hybrid vehicles at this time, and also with the former Gilbert paper mill and the Whiting paper mill, I've asked that we look into the possibility of having hydroelectric power. It's such a clean energy. Here in Menasha, we have a 10-foot drop from the river, from Lake Winnebago to the lower lake, and we could be providing much hydroelectric power, which is such clean energy. And our Sustainability Commission is working. I attended that meeting, the last one they had, and they are working. I have to stop.
Thank you. Randy?
Would you mind repeating the question, please?
How should Menasha be addressing sustainability and climate change?
Menasha, right now, as far as addressing the sustainability and climate change, we've worked on getting more friendly, cleaner vehicles as far as emissions control. We've worked on continuing to have parks in our city. Parks are beautification, but they also have green space, so that helps us. We've really focused in on that, and so we're going to continue with our parks. We're going to continue by having vehicles, city vehicles that are great for gas mileage and also emission controls. As James mentioned, possibilities with our water as far as with the dam, possibility making using some power that way. So those are the main issues. It hasn't really come up very much with the council as far as the sustainability, but our parks are a tremendous asset to our city, and they're well used. Thank you.
Okay, Josh?
As far as I'm concerned, the city of Menasha, even though it's a city of only 18,000, can actually do quite a bit for sustainability and reducing our impact on the local environment. I'm an avid hiker. I love to hunt. The outdoors are my passion. And I truly believe that one of the things that we can do is to get people engaged, okay? We can get people engaged in the love of activity, the love of the outdoors, utilizing our access to waterfront, trails, parks, encouraging public library to hold outdoor events in those facilities to not only encourage people to be outdoors, but also learn about the environment through an academic process. Things like vehicles that reduce emissions, electric vehicles, are great, and they certainly should be researched, but let's be honest, with a small city government, a small city fleet, that sort of impact is not going to be all that great. I think we need to really push that education part and also that building forward on our children and throughout the civic groups and also the parks and rec groups that are within the city. Thank you.
Thanks. Austin?
Things that Common Council in the City of Menasha can do to address sustainability, the climate crisis, is address it at every facet of operation here in the City of Menasha. I know it might seem like a small feet to start at the local level, and we like to focus specifically on statewide initiative and federal initiative. But we need to be able to weather the storm of policy changes when they arise and make sure that we're doing what we need to do best to keep Menasha moving forward in the right direction. So moving over to fleets of EV vehicles, seeing how much energy we are consuming with the buildings here in the city of Menasha, helping homeowners get more energy efficient windows and things of that nature that make their energy consumption better. We have a great fortune to have Menasha utilities here and having our own electricity that at a very low cost, and that is while utilizing renewable resources. So making those investments in renewable resources, educating the public on how they can take the initiative and the charge to be more sustainable, but also taking a broad approach of aligning ourselves with the 2050 goal that we do have for the city of Menasha, but that also aligns with the state of Wisconsin and the United States. But I would argue a more aggressive goal, a 2040 if possible, but it's something that we cannot take lightly. And I think as a member of the Sustainability Board, there's other things we can do. It might sound silly, but parks, planting trees, that absorbs carbon. We need to do it in every facet that is possible from little to big because this issue is not going away.
Thank you. You're first this time, James. The question is, how can the city make Menasha a welcoming place to people of diverse backgrounds?
Menasha has a very diverse population at this time. Our school system well embraces the diversity with bilingual language programs, and this library has welcomed that, our public library, and our police department has bilingual police officers at this time. So Menasha is very welcoming to the diversity that's changing here in the Fox Cities. We know 40 years ago, we had great impact with the Hmong community and how they have just nestled into the whole Fox Cities and done such a great job and become community leaders. And Menasha is a great place for diversity.
Thank you. Randy?
Thank you very much. How can the city make for an inviting place for people of diversity? Menasha High, again, Menasha has many ESL programs. They have many other programs as far as to help the different backgrounds of our students. We have a great city health department which really focuses in on helping and making the switch over from moving into Menasha. So they do a great job. We have a diverse fire and police department with many different diverse backgrounds. So we try to do those things. Again, Menasha is a great place. We have a lot of diversity in our city, and we offer many different programs as far as even rental programs. We have lots of rental programs, rental places for diverse backgrounds, and we're very inviting for those people. So any background. So thank you.
Thank you. Josh?
Menasha is a very warm and welcoming place to begin with, but I think we can do a couple of things to improve upon that. City government needs to be responsive to all peoples, not only just from common sense standpoint, but also because of federal law. I think that by educating government employees within the city on what their responsibilities are when working with people who are perhaps of a different language background or cultural background could do a lot to inform those people and help bring them here. I think having festivals, large group gatherings that welcome all parties. You can do that with Neighborhood Watch. You can do that with different downtown events. You can do it with events in the Parks and Rec Department. I think utilizing our potential tourism through the waterfront, our parks, our trails, could definitely encourage people to come out, mingle with each other, and get to know each other. That's going to be the key, is getting people outside, mingling with each other, getting to know each other, and so that we can build upon our community. By having tourism come into the city and people want to venture here and play here, they'll want to live here, they'll want to move here. And I think that cannot be said enough. Thank you.
I think
Go ahead, Austin.
Thank you. I think what we can do here in the city of Menasha to be more welcoming to a growing diverse population is just start by listening. Listen to where people are coming from, who have different experiences, different ethnicities, different walks of life. Just listen to their life experiences. Because if we're not willing to listen, we're not willing to learn. And if we're not willing to learn, we're not going to be able to lead as a common council. So I think that is the foremost, listening. And I've heard some of the other candidates up here discuss, we have bilingual programs and people that have that within the police department and in our schools, and that is phenomenal, but we just need to keep expanding that in every facet of government. And I think trainings and presentations maybe for the Common Council so we can be the most representative of our population, of our constituents here in the city of Menasha, so we have the best understanding of everybody that we're representing. Community spaces where people can put up art and celebrate who they are no matter where they come from, so citizens from all around can learn from each other. These open spaces and festivals like Mr. School had mentioned would be phenomenal to see, just bringing the community together to celebrate and to listen and to grow. I think that's what we need in order to genuinely be able to do it. And we need to condemn when things are brought up forward that don't represent what our best intentions are, which is for everybody to be able to have a seat at the table and be who they are. We need to be able to be welcoming, listen, but we need to be able to call out when things arise.
Thank you. Rosita?
They've all made really good points so far. I also think that we are well diverse already, so it kind of shows others, hey, we'll be comfortable there. They've already welcomed other people from diverse backgrounds there. We have quite a few diverse businesses, so showing that, I think we can offer other diverse backgrounds to open up more businesses. Again, with the schooling, they have the different language classes. So I just think we continue doing what we're doing and showing that we're welcoming all the diverse backgrounds here.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, this time we'll be starting with you again, Randy.
Thank you.
What is your vision for an enhanced downtown and filling vacant storefronts?
My vision for an enhanced downtown, we're working on it. The last 4 years, we've really put a lot of time in trying to fill up what we have and also create new places for people to live. We've got apartments going up in older buildings or even newer buildings. The Faith Technology building has been changed over. We're also going to we've got the great Community First in that building. And to enhance our downtown, we've been trying to, we're going to beautify it. That's why we've got the Holiday Light Committee. We're working on with new street lights. We're working on making it a inviting downtown. We're trying to get other businesses to move in. The Bryn's going to have some businesses on the first floor. We're trying to work with the business people and try to enhance their buildings and try to do as much as we can as far as with the TIF district. And we're just trying to get people to move downtown. Right now, if we get them moving downtown in our apartments, that'll bring reason to have restaurants downtown. So it's just almost a revolving circle back and forth. So people are downtown, they need places to eat. And so we've got restaurants down there. So as far as businesses go, as far as retail, not so much, but a lot of specialty stores for people. So thank you.
Thank you. Josh?
My vision for an enhanced downtown is a place where people can gather, where people can go begin their trip on the Fox River, begin their bicycling trip on one of our many trails. My vision for an enhanced downtown is a place where people want to spend time. It's clean, it's going to be safe, place where people can actually enjoy themselves, enjoy the fruits of their labor. And if that happens to be, go to a coffee shop, go to a restaurant, perhaps meet in an open committee or an open meeting space in the downtown area, that would be lovely as well. But we have to be acknowledge the fact that we cannot dictate what downtown will be. That will ultimately be up to the people who choose to spend the time there. We can create an atmosphere that's welcoming, that's warm, but ultimately that's up to the people who start their businesses, people who want to move in, people who want to purchase items or services or goods. So it's important to have a vision, but it's important to be flexible with that vision so that if the moods of the consumer, of the resident, of the taxpayer change, this city can shift with it and not be stuck in one particular mindset or mode. Thank you.
Thank you. Austin?
Yeah, so my vision for downtown Menasha is a vibrant community with successful businesses that flourishes economically, that we use tips to our advantage for redevelopment, that we open spaces for restaurants and small gift shops and things of that nature. And like with the 4 developments that we have currently for apartments, we're going to have more need for that because we're going to be welcoming more folks in that are going to be living here. But I think we need to also live out our values with our downtown. We should seek out areas for cultural and community base where we can celebrate, gather, murals potentially, things of that nature that just really show who we are, who we strive to be, and who we want to be. And then we also strive for environmental causes and sustainability, however we can, whether it's switching out the lights through our downtown, welcoming bicyclists and people that are just coming to enjoy the water. I want downtown Menasha to be vibrant, I want it to be welcoming, and I want it to be a place that people generally want to come and enjoy, spend their money, enjoy the environment that we've established, because I think ultimately at the end of the day we should want our downtown to be a representative of who we are as a people. So I think Common Council has a pivotal role to play in that, and helping however we can with the revitalization and funds to encourage businesses to want to come here. And obviously we'd want to encourage small businesses and help them out fiscally however we can in order for them to be successful. If we're able to do all of these things and live out our values and who we are as a city in our downtown, I think it's going to prove to be pivotal.
Thank you, Austin. Rosita?
I guess I have a little bit similar vision, but a little bit different. I like the apartments. I like the current businesses that are there. I think we need to bring like a drugstore or a pharmacy down there, something where if one of the apartments just need to go grab something real quick, they can do that. I think we need more touristy ideas to bring in people from other cities to our downtown Menasha. I just think it goes back to the whole circle of you bring the families here, the needs will come, the businesses will come, and it'll keep bringing and keep circling through. So,
Okay, thank you. James?
Thank you. Enhancements, that's what it's all been about the last 35 years. I was chairman of the Menasha Action Council Street Design and Image and Design Committee. Some of my initiatives were the beautiful fountain you see on the corner of Main Street and Milwaukee Street, the flower beds that you see on Racine Street, another initiative of mine, the historic walk downtown with the brass plaques that tells you what was here before, maybe a building, maybe a person, former presidents. All those were my initiatives in the downtown, and I'm constantly working at that. Before Nina had the ice skating rink, my initiative was to have an ice skating rink downtown, which we did on the square before it was formalized. And this year I asked the mayor that we look into having the ice skating rink back on the square, especially with the new 100 new housing apartments in the downtown. We're going to have to meet that need. Another initiative I asked for recently is you have so many people that play golf. We have 350 people in the Faith Technology Building. So many of those people play golf. And when the Racine Street Bridge is removed, put in that green space that we have putting greens. So at lunchtime, people can get out, fresh air, and use their putters. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Josh, this question goes to you first.
Okay.
How should the city use its ARPA funding, the federal funding that was allotted during the pandemic?
Boy, when we look at federal funding, the first thing I always caution about any funding is what are the strings attached? I think it's a dangerous road to go down when we start looking at funding that comes from outside the city because of the strings that are attached. I think that funding needs to be used in a way that benefits the taxpayers of Menasha in terms of reducing the overall tax liability. I think something like that nature could be done to, again, beautify the city. I think every single one of us has come up here and said that that is a key resource here, and why not use that money for that purpose? It will draw in tourists, it will enhance the quality of life for our residents, it'll encourage business development and growth, and it'll get people outside enjoying themselves once again. It'll just continue to build on that level of community that we also enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you. Austin?
Yeah, I think the usage of the ARPA funding for the city of Menasha should be utilized for make the transition to being more sustainable. I think beautifying our parks and making them more accessible, making them more attractive, I guess that's the word I'm looking for, where folks want to just go out and enjoy a park. I feel like that would be a great use of our ARPA funding. And sustainability potentially, like maybe just switching over lights and things of that nature, wherever would be just the next right step. That's what we need to like focus on, because it can be a very daunting thought. But the next right step is still a step forward in the next direction. But those steps eventually make a lot of progression. So using ARPA funding for that to make Menasha a more beautiful community that people are attracted to and want to go to, but also is taking care of the environment. I think those are great things that we could use ARPA funding for.
Thank you. Rosita?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Certainly. How should the city use its ARPA funding, the federal funding that was allotted during the pandemic?
I guess I'm not familiar with what the funding is.
Okay, that's the American Recovery Act. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to pass because I'm not familiar with what the funding is, what it was meant for, so I'm not going to comment and say the wrong thing. I apologize.
That's fine, thank you. And then we go to you, James.
Thank you. Menasha is going to receive $1.7 million in the ARPA funds. That's a lot of money for a city, and how we should use that dollar should not only be up to the city council. I asked the mayor and the council to have a workshop on this large amount of dollars we're receiving. And on March 16th at 5 o'clock at City Hall, we're going to have a workshop for the council to figure out what to do with these dollars. I just asked the mayor and the council 2 days ago that we need to have a workshop for the public. And I asked for that to be here at the library in the community room, and as a workshop where we all sit down in small groups on tables, work up our ideas, and then bring them up to the large board here and figure out, as good leaders, see what the community wants. I know aldermen have some opportunities here and some projects that they would like to see, but more importantly, we're here to represent the community, and we have to have this wonderful workshop, because the more people you involve, as I've worked at 30 years with team building, that's when you come up with your best ideas. And I'm always looking forward to hear what the community has to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Randy?
Thank you very much. The ARPA funding, many different ideas have been tossed around. As James had mentioned, we do have a workshop coming up in March, and hopefully we can come up with some ideas. I do like James's idea of getting the public involved, whether it's at that meeting or at a future meeting. One of the things that I've been thinking about is our Whiting area, where the Whiting Mill was, also Jefferson Park. Some of the things the reasons I want those type of things is I want people to be able to see the fruits of this money. And Jefferson Park, doing some things in Jefferson Park to beautify it and get people downtown, or get people to the park. We have a great asset in Jefferson Park. It's currently, as far as I'm concerned, underutilized. And so the more that we can make some improvements there, people will see that, and people will gather downtown and gather at the park. I'm sorry. So any of our park areas, the Whiting area, it could be changed into some type of housing, even a little park at the end of that area over there. So again, our ARPA funds, I like James's idea as far as allowing the public, and we represent the public, so we want to get their thoughts as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Austin, this question goes to you first. What can be done to attract and retain municipal employees?
Things that can be done to attract and retain municipal employees. It's a really remarkable question. I don't think I have a ton of insight, but my opinion would be to give them a competitive wage that would make them want to stay. You got to pay people their worth and make them want to have a job that at the end of the day they can live. And I'm not saying that isn't the case, but if there's a lot of contention with folks leaving in the realm of municipal work, I would kind of argue that it might be good to look at what other rates are of other municipalities and cities and areas around the state to kind of gauge what that is, and that we should be very competitive, because if we have, I know we have phenomenal people that work here in the city of Menasha, so pay them what they're worth and pay them a competitive wage that makes them want to stay here. That would be my argument, and that would be my stance on the matter.
Okay, thank you. Rosita?
I pretty much have to agree with him. See what other cities are doing, try to compare if we can afford it, if it's in our budget. Vacation, 401k, all the benefits, just, compare what the other cities are doing and try to keep them here. And I feel we treat our municipality already great, but again, don't know statistics and numbers exactly, but that's what I would do as well.
Thank you. James?
Thank you. Menasha has wonderful employees, and we have a work environment that is second to none. We encourage people rising through the ranks. We have an outstanding police department that is an accreditation department, and there's only 14 of those in the state of Wisconsin, and the city of Menasha is a safer place for that. And our fire department continues to provide excellent service with our combined fire department to reduce costs and again, keeping our city safe. Our public works department is second to none. Throughout the community, you see their work 24/7, 365 days a year. The department has a wonderful brand new home. It has an array of solar panels on the roof that helps keep that building heated, and which is out of sight to the public. And our city hall is an excellent place. We have a level 2 health department, which is really unheard of for a size of the city of Menasha. And with all their clinics this year, it's just been kept everybody safe throughout the COVID pandemic. Our workers at City Hall, we provide great benefits to them.
Thank you. Randy?
Thank you very much. What can be done to attract and retain municipal workers? Currently, our city has probably 90% of our city employees live outside our city. We've hashed this question back and forth. This has been a big concern of our city fathers, our city council. One of the things we did do is we've established a housing grant. So if they're going to move into our city, we would pay them $5,000 to move into our city. And so that's one thing we've done. We've had one employee take advantage of that program. Act 10, many years ago, allowed city employees to live anywhere. We used to have teachers and the city employees. My father was a policeman. Everybody lived in the city. Those are great paying jobs, and they add great to our tax base. Unfortunately, Act 10 did away with that, so we had city employees all have left to live in different areas. Our department heads have to live within 20 miles of here, so we've tried to do our best. But the housing one for $5,000, we're trying to get them here. That's an incentive. We have great employees. The way society is right now, they do a great job for us. Boy, we would love their tax money, but the only thing we can come up with right now is a housing discount. So again, our employees are excellent. Thank you.
I might be uniquely qualified to answer this question, as I am the only government employee running for office right now. Act 10 did a wonderful thing for us. It allowed government employees to live where they want. I don't think that because you work for one municipality, you should be forced to live in that municipality. I work for a different government body outside of the city of Menasha and Winnebago County, and yet I choose to live in the city of Menasha. Act 10 did some other great things. They de-unionized a lot of our positions. Unions have done nothing but destroy government workers. When we look at things that have occurred within this city, we look at vacation. You don't have to pay your employees 7, 8, 9, 10% pay raises. That would be great, but it's not going to happen when you have one of the things that did occur under Act 10, which is a terrible thing, freezing employee pay raises to the cost of living, or below the cost of living, the adjusted cost of living. That's 2% for the city of Menasha, whereas inflation is what, 5 or 6%? So basically what we're saying is you are losing money when you work for the government. We want to retain, we want to attract these employees, let's give them other benefits. Let's give them lots more vacation. And within the city itself, not all city employees have the same responsibility, the same burden. A person who is a single parent or a young family working perhaps for the police department, which is 24/7, maybe they deserve more vacation than the receptionist working Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. When we look at bonuses and so on and so forth, that's great. Using extra money, but it's not a guarantee every year. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Okay, we're going to slip in just one more question. It's going to be 30 seconds, okay? That's all you get, 30 seconds. She can't even give you a warning because we don't have a smaller sign than that. But she does still have her stop sign, so. And James, we're going to start with you this time and just go whoop, right down, okay? This is our lightning round. What would your response be to a constituent concerned about a bike and ped trail near their property?
What trail?
Bike and pedestrian trail.
I've lived on the Friendship Trail for the last 12 years, and I tell people that are fearful of having a trail come through their neighborhood. These are wonderful people in our community. They're out there exercising, they're trying to make their life better. On the weekends, you see 3 generations out there with the parents, grandparents, and the children out there. And every day you see people working really hard to make their life better. So there's no fear of having trails near your home. It's just a wonderful tool.
Rosita.
I agree. I would let them know that it's a safe, Menasha's safe. We have a low crime rate. You see people walking through the parks, which are already by homes, and we don't have issues with them. So I would just say, let it happen. We have so many of them anyways.
Thank you. Austin?
Yeah, I would just try, first acknowledge that I hear them, but I would try to just put a positive spin and be like, think of how many of your neighbors benefit because of it. A rising tide lifts all boats. So your neighbors are utilizing this trail, impacting their life, connecting with nature. It connects us with our neighboring communities. I would encourage them to try it and just say it is an amazing thing that we have these trails in our community, and we are so fortunate because of it.
Thank you. Josh?
When I moved here from the city of Appleton, there were no pedestrian trails in my neighborhood. I moved in on the east side, and lo and behold, there's a large pedestrian trail that runs all across Highway 114, and we love it. I was apprehensive at first, but I would simply explain to them that it is a phenomenal tool, and it should be encouraged. They are great.
Thank you. Randy?
I agree with Josh. Actually, they did put a new trail in going from Quick Trip out to, it's going to go behind the water plant and actually stretch out all the way out to Lake Park Road. And this is in the works. And I think the trails are great for biking, for walking. The city takes care of them, so they're always plowed, they're always taken care of, the grass is cut around them. It's a great way to see our city and a great way to exercise, and trails are great. We've gotten honors for the city, so thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
You're welcome.
Sorry, that was telling me that it's time to stop. How good was that? This concludes the Menasha Alderman Forum. In each district, you may vote for one of these candidates on Tuesday, April 5th. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and you may register when you go to vote on Election Day. Take a proof of residence with you. Everyone must show a photo voter ID. Go to myvote.wi.gov to find information on registration, ballots, acceptable photo IDs, and polling places. Go to vote411.org to learn more about all the candidates on your ballot. On behalf of the League of the Women Voters of Winnebago County, I want to thank the candidates for participating in this forum, and I want to thank you for watching. Remember, your vote is your voice in our democracy. Democracy depends on citizen involvement. Please, vote on April 5th.